Welcome to the Common Sense Investing, or CSI show, with Victor McClure and Guy Allard from McClure Capital Wealth Management Companies. For the next hour, Victor and Guy will use their combined 60-plus years of experience to answer your financial questions with their own brand of plain-spoken language and hard-hitting style.
Welcome to the Common Sense Investing Show. I'm Victor McClure.
And I'm Guy Allard.
Welcome here from the Star in Frisco, home of the Dallas Cowboys that are always just good enough to get my hopes up and then crush me at the end.
They made it a little further this year, didn't they? They actually got a playoff game.
I watch every game with my 16-year-old, and I haven't missed a game since he was 2. And he's never seen them win. Never. And I'm like, I think it could be this year. And he goes, his hopes are dashed again.
I didn't think about that.
Oh, yeah. He's never seen it.
His whole life, right?
1995, whatever, last time.
Is that when he was born?
No, he was born way after that.
That's right. 02, right? Yeah.
03,
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you.
He just got his driver's license. Oh, my gosh, my insurance went nuts. Why can't they said, well, it will go down when they're 25. I was like, what? It's like my oldest doing about 9 years of college.
And they always get into some accident the first few years.
Hopefully
it'll be a one car, nothing catastrophic.
Hopefully I can pay cash for the fixing the thing, because trust me, it's worth it. If you got $1,000 bills, don't you report it.
Don't report it.
They'll charge you $300 a month for a $1,000 bill.
That's right.
I'm going to get one of those dent popper guys that come out to your house with
do the whole
painless dent repair.
That's right.
Fix it up, good as you can. That's good enough. But,
so did he sleep in the car the first night when he got it for his birthday?
Oh, he's taking it all over the place, He's taking his words, chicks around, stuff like that. I was like, do you remember when you were 16?
I didn't have a new car when I was 16. I'm just saying.
You don't have to tell him that. Now everybody thinks I'm an idiot.
My first car, I think I was 18 before I got
Really?
it. Yeah.
Oh, no. My 16th birthday, I thought I was the deal, boy.
Your dad give you a hand-me-down?
I drove for like 6 hours just around town the first day, just to go play. I didn't care. I just went everywhere. Went to every friend's house. Hey, look, I'm driving.
Honk, honk. Wave.
See, any place I thought there would be girls here from school, I'm going to drive there too.
So they could see you?
Yeah, and it was probably a Tuesday.
That's fine.
But that's what you did. So, no, he's doing the same thing. I only got 2 more coming to be driving, and, since my oldest is 32, I can't believe I'm going through all this again.
Well, you know the good news on that, don't you?
What's that?
All that expense for that vehicle and the insurance and all of that will pale in comparison to your college expenses.
You're true.
I got you.
Well, think about all them. Since a boy's insurance doesn't go down to 25, I'm going to get the double whammy. I'm going to it gets in a wreck or gets a ticket.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's going to be and the problem is I have 3 boys and 1 girl. See, girls are less, and I think they start lowering it like 21.
Is there 6 years difference between the 2?
Yeah.
So you get relief. You won't have 2 in at the same time. College.
Yeah, I'll have like a year break.
Yeah. Okay.
No, and there's one right after that. I don't think I'm going to break, but I'll have 2 of them all the way for like 3 years.
But the oldest to be out, hopefully.
Yes.
Unless he's getting his PhD or, you're doing something.
Or he's screwing off 6 years on a bachelor's. You never know.
Your oldest son went for like 6 or 7 years, didn't he?
9.
Yeah. But he's a professor, so I guess it was worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it, I guess.
Keynote speaker, all that good stuff.
Well, I figured all the, the amount of money you spend in, undergrad, graduate school, and all that kind of stuff. He's a professor in New York, makes, he's a, first couple of years, makes 70, 80 grand a year. It'll take it about 150 to get the money back.
Years? Is that what you're saying?
It's terrible. Because I'm telling you, look at a private school, like a graduate program. It's $50,000-$70,000 a year or something.
I was watching the business show that I watch in the morning as I was getting ready earlier this week.
That's your Marta Romo show?
Yeah, that's right. It's only the truth, no spin. But there's new colleges out there, and there's some young guy on there, co-founder. I mean, young guy like 20s, where you don't pay to go to school. There's some criteria as far as grades and attendance and all of that stuff. But when you get a job is when you pay back for your tuition. So they place you, and that was mostly tech stuff, coding and all of that stuff. They placed people. They were very proud of Google and Apple and all of that. But, yeah, you don't pay until you graduate, and they get you a job. And at that point, they didn't get into depth about how much it was and how big of a bite they take, but they don't take any cost until that point. I said, man, that's not a bad idea.
Well, I talked to 4 of my kids, and I said, there's something called the military. That
yes,
will
there
pay
is.
for your college.
That's right.
If you just give them 4 or 5 years, 6 years, they'll pay for your college.
If you give them 20, you get one career down, you have time for another one. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, none of them were biting for that one. They're like, no way. Part of me is relieved, but part of me is like, man, that saved me a lot of money.
They tried to keep you in.
If you're just tuning into the show, it is a finance show, so we can talk about money all you want.
That's right.
Especially since I've got pain. I've got 3 more going to college.
That's right. It's all about the money.
Oh, yeah. All right. Remember, we're going to talk about a couple things today. We're going to go over RMD strategy. Required minimum distribution, also called MRD, minimum required distribution. But RMD is the one the IRS seems to use the most.
That's actually correct.
For those of you not familiar, remember all your retirement accounts, like your 401ks, 403bs, all those plans, you put money in there before tax. That's one of the main benefits of it. So you can put pre-tax money, which allows you to save much quicker than you can anywhere else. Much quicker. And that's what I always tell people. If anybody tells you we'll beat your 401k or beat the pants out of your 401k, quit investing in the 401k and invest in this other whatever it is.
Be scared.
They're one of 2 things. They're a crook or an idiot. They're either trying to cheat you or they truly believe they're BS.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm going to beat. I go, think about if you make a lot of money and you're deferring at a 37% rate. Are you kidding me?
Well, one thing I promise you, the buzzword for the last several years that you've heard all over the place is to ask your finance guy, is he a fiduciary? One thing I promise you, they're not fiduciaries. Is that fairly safe?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. If they were, they won't be long.
No, that's right.
They do. Every once in a while, I'll see somebody that's, licensed, qualified, that does some private investments, things like this, but they usually don't do them long.
No, but they don't tell you not to invest in a 401k or retirement account.
I've heard this all over. I've heard life insurance guys doing it constantly. No, look at the benefits here. Don't do it in the 401k. Instead of that $2,000 a month, let's put it over here. That's not only bad advice, but it's almost to the criminal side but I'm giving them a little leeway. They could be just an idiot and not know the difference.
Or just convince themselves.
Oh.
And when they give you the presentation, nice word for pitch, I mean, it sounds good and it makes sense. I mean, they know what they're talking about. But the numbers they're using, I mean, there's something that isn't adding up.
Oh, yeah, and they aren't even doing it by the numbers with the tax deductibility portion and tax deferred portion. They're ignoring that.
That's right.
That would be like a 30-something% profit right immediately. Plus you have matches, all that kind of stuff. So anybody ever tells you to lower the amount that you're contributing to a 401k or reduce the amount to do something else, they're not looking out for you. You should go into something that, in addition to, if you still like this particular whatever it is, that's okay. But I'm telling you, maxing out that 401k is one of the smartest decisions you could ever make. Don't get fooled because you only got 10 choices. These 10 choices stink. Oh, it went down 10% in December. That doesn't matter. The tax deductibility, the possible matching, and the tax deferment long term, it is extremely difficult.
That's right.
To beat a 401k.
The other way around your RMDs, required minimum distributions, is if you converted yours to a Roth. And if someone talks to you specifically about converting your account to a Roth so you're not subject to RMDs at 70.5, that's only a small piece of the whole picture that you want to look at. Victor and I have talked about this many a times. If you're in a higher tax rate bracket when you're retired than when you're earning, or the same, meaning the max rate, then perhaps it is a good idea. But just on that reason alone, not so much.
By the way, 99% of people, when they don't have a check anymore, are in a lower tax bracket,
Absolutely.
Regardless of what tax rates are doing.
That's right.
So it's all about the math. Math never lies. That's what this show is all about. It's about the math.
That's right.
Don't ever let anyone tell you. I don't know how to reiterate this enough, but 401ks, 457, 403bs, are smart to do, regardless of what the choices are, regardless if your employer matches. I mean, I've heard the excuses a long time. Well, my cheap boss only puts in 3%. I'm like, so?
Yeah, and I'm just going to put enough in to get that 3.
That's right.
You know, you're only hurting yourself.
I go, think about the 100% return, right?
That's right.
What if you put in 6? Is a 50% return bad? I don't know what no, it's not bad.
That's right.
So just remember that always do that. Don't ever listen to commercials or anybody. As soon as they bring up that, you know you're not talking to a fiduciary or limited. You're talking to somebody just trying to sell you something. Remember, call our office if you'd like to take advantage of any of our free, no-charge services. One of them is free and no charge. No obligation. How about that?
And we've got a nice kit that goes out that shows you some nice numbers and charts and documents what we're talking about, comparing the different investments.
Right. Our number is 972-715-2424. Again, 972-715-2424. You can always go to our website, ilovemyretirement.com. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome to the Common Sense Investing Show, where your investment strategy is always based on facts instead of some sales pitch. Here's Victor McClure and Guy Allard.
Welcome back to the show. Let's talk about, we talked about this, a couple weeks ago, but I want to make sure for all you people that are contributing to your corporate retirement plans, or you're doing, SEP IRAs, simple 401ks, simple IRAs. Remember, you can raise all your contributions this year. The IRS is letting us, the increasing amount you can put as deferment into all of your retirement accounts. So we'll kind of go over that for a second. 401ks. 401ks, you can now put in $19,000 a year. That's your elective deferral. Your employer can put in another $35,000,
That's
so
if you're 49 or under.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you people out there that when you put in 19, they put in 35 or something.
That'd be nice.
That's a pretty good company if you did. But believe it or not, when 401ks that's what they used to do. A lot more. Now
it replaced company pension plans. So
then they figured out, that's expensive. Let's keep them knocking this down. Now you're lucky to get a 3% match, right?
And lower. That's right. Or companies don't even have them.
That's right. Your catch-up provision is $6,000. So if you're over 50, you could put in $25,000 into a 401k, 403b, or whatever. So if you're one of those people that max out, congratulations, that's a great thing. Everybody tells me there's two things. Paying off a house, I don't care if the tax write-off. You don't have to pay for the house anymore. The peace of mind knowing you own the house. The other thing is maxing out a 401k. The smartest things you could do.
The other deal on the house, between taxes and insurance, your payment never goes away. What's up with that?
That's right. By the time you pay off that mortgage, typically your insurance and your taxes are higher than your principal, income, and taxes and interest before.
When you bought the house, that's right.
That's right. So everybody that maxed out, remember, call your HR, whoever you do. Sometimes you can do it online if it's a Fidelity, 401k, or Vanguard. Increase those contributions. Also with IRA, Roth IRA and regular IRA contributions are $6,000 this year. Remember, they were $5,000 last year with a $1,000 catch-up. So the last several years, 5 or 6 years, they've been at $6,500 for your over 50. Now they're at $7,000. Okay. Simple SEP IRAs, those are simplified employee pension IRAs. $56,000 you could put in those.
I got a question. How about if you're maxing out, you're putting your $25,000 in your 401k? Can I still put $6,000 away in an IRA?
You can if you don't make a certain amount of money.
That's right.
And it's not a lot, by the way.
Yeah, no, you have income. Same thing with the Roth. You'll have income limitations.
That's right. Roth income limitations are much higher.
Yep.
But regular IRA, especially when you have access to a company plan. The key is if you don't have access, you can always put in an IRA, regardless of income. If you have access to a company plan, then it's going to be these small limits.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, also, here's another good one. This isn't so good, actually. The amount of Social Security is going to be taxed this year. It's up to like $130,000, something like that. Gosh, I remember when it was 40. Remember, we're only going to do Social Security in the first 40.
Yeah, what we're talking about is how much of your income is going to be taxed for Social Security and FICA. And
it's up to $130-something thousand now. So the first 100. So if you make over $130-something thousand, you're not having to pay that 6%.
You get a little break.
Security.
Yeah.
About 15 years ago, Medicare used to have the same limit, and then they made that unlimited. And Medicare is still almost broke.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's got to be like when I went to the hospital for the 3 hours, the day surgery was $17,000 for the hospital portion. That can't have anything to do with that, can it? The Medicare's almost broke.
Oh.
How much they charge for medicine? I got this muscle relaxer, and they said your plan's not covering that, but you can pay cash. I go, well, how much is it? $1,700. I was like, holy crap, what's in this stuff?
How often?
Oh, monthly. I was like, you must be on dope because I ain't paying $1,700 for a damn pill.
I have friends that had heart issues, and they've got like a little miniature tackle box worth of pills, in each compartment, and it's thousands a month.
Oh, I got my little planner, AM, PM.
Yep.
Like, I used to make fun of my dad. I'm like, oh, man, taking pills. Well. I can't say that anymore.
No, sir.
All right. We talked about the benefits. Now, everybody that's an employee should max out a 401k if it's offered to them. That's pretty much general knowledge. What if you're a small business owner? I happen to be a small business owner. What if you're a small business owner? What do you want to do the cheapest way to do a plan? It really depends on how big you are. Let's say you're self-employed, just you. Then you want to do a SEP.
Great.
Remember, it allows you $56,000 you can defer right off your tax. So if you made $200,000, IRS only sees you making $144,000. It's actually up to $250,000. So to get the full $56,000, it's like 25% of your income up to. You can only count for like $250,000 of income. But that's a lot of money to defer right off your taxes and put in your own retirement account instead of paying 20-30% of that to Uncle Sam. So instead of paying 20-30% to Uncle Sam, you're putting it in your own retirement account that's tax deductible, tax deferred. There's no quicker way to make money or to save money.
And if it's a husband and wife business, better yet,
Absolutely.
because it's based on a percentage of the salary, not the dollar amount.
That's
so
right.
you could really hit a home run there.
So if it's you or family members, real close family, like a spouse or whatever, maybe you got a wife or son, then a SEP's good. It's not good when you start adding employees on there. When you start adding employees on there, if you put in 25% of your check, you got to put in 25% of their check.
Of their check, that's right.
So it's not good if you have an employee. Now, if you got a lot of 1099 people, by the way, be careful.
Subcontractors, all that
if
stuff.
you have those, they're not employees, right?
That's right.
So if it's just you and no subcontractors, $56,000 a year can be taken out and put into those plans, really ramping up your savings. What if you're a company that has 5 employees, 10 employees? We'll talk about that after we're break, and we'll show you what kind of plans would be most appropriate for you. Don't hesitate to call us if you have any financial questions, or you like our welcome kit that gives you a lot of information, all the numbers we've talked about, charts and strategies. 972-715-2424. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome back to the Common Sense Investing Show, hosted by 2 of the most experienced advisors in the DFW Metroplex, Victor McClure and Guy Allard.
Yeah, you want to embarrass your kids?
Sure.
You do that.
I'd rather embarrass yours.
You have that guitar riff?
Yeah.
Do like an air guitar. Oh, no, the kids think you're a complete nerd. Yeah, don't do that.
There's a Geico commercial that does something like that.
Oh, yeah, they'll look at you like
turn
you're
into your
nuts.
dad. Yeah, that's right.
Or I'll I turn the radio up like when an old, Boston or Bad Company song come on. I'll turn it up and my head starts. They go, "Oh my God, those people can see you." What do you mean? I'm thinking I'm cool. And they go, "No." Oh, I remember we had a guy that used to take us when we were like 14, carpooling to school, and his dad was like, "Oh my gosh, I mean, kind of the biggest nerd you've ever seen." He was driving a Pacer, and we all packed in his Pacer.
Oh, nice, AMC.
He turned his music up loud. It was like the worst, in our music we've ever heard. It's like opera or something. He turned real loud and rolled down the windows, and he goes, "Oh my God, he's dropping us off here."
Can you drop us off?
We always try to go on the other block. "Hey, we're going to go to the store. Can you drop us off here?" I'm like, "Oh man." As soon as one of my buddies started driving, we got to escape that deal.
I remember my mom hated my rock and roll music so bad that I swore, kind of to yourself. You tell yourself, when I have kids, when I get to be that age, I don't care what they listen to. I'm going to understand. I'm going to like it. Yeah. I'm going to listen to it. No, that didn't work either.
I got in my son's car the other day, and it was that boo, boo, boo. The synthesized voice when they got a bad voice, rap stuff, and it's a bad voice. I was like, oh.
It's so violent,
Can you turn that down, please? It's talking about all kinds of stuff. Not good stuff either.
No, not finance, which is why we're here.
That's right. All right. let's talk about, I'm sorry. I had to finish up the thing. So remember, if you're self-employed or just you and your spouse, or maybe you, your spouse, and a child.
Absolutely.
SEP IRA, best choice for retirement plan. Everybody needs one.
You were getting into 5 or 6 employees.
Let's say you have 5 or 6 employees. You have a couple of choices here. One of them is a simple IRA. Simple IRAs let you put in like, $13,000 and you put like $3,000 catch up. Why would we talk about a SEP with $56,000 or a 401k with $19,000? Because the limit on a regular IRA is only $6,000.
That's right.
Right? $7,000 if you're over 50. So that's why we're talking about these. In order to save money at a faster rate, you need to do one of these other plans. Simple IRAs, you could do one of two things. You're trying to figure out expenses for a small business owner.
It's a little bit easier on the business owner.
That's right. You can either just give everybody 2%, okay, or match up to 3%. That's a simple IRA. 2% or match up to 3%. So if we got your people that don't want to match, they don't want to put anything in there, maybe you'll match up to 3%. If everybody's in there, just go ahead and put the 2%, right? And that will allow you to put whatever you want into the plan and all that kind of stuff. That's a simple IRA.
The engineer that's with us today, Sarah, our receptionist, our junior brokers and all of that, while we were talking about IRAs, thought it would be a good time while we were on air to ask you if you'd be willing to do a SEP for our company where we could do 25% of our income. And I'll just throw that question out to you. Would that be okay?
This is a terrible place to talk about that. I will put that under advisement. I'll keep that under advisement.
Okay.
Let's talk 2020.
We'll be back together. Revisit that?
That's right. We'll reconvene it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But remember, the reason why we're talking about these other plans, too, is a lot of people still believe that 401ks are really expensive, and they used to be. That the bookkeeping is very kind of strenuous, and there's top-heavy testing. There's a lot of different things with a 401k that make it difficult on a small business owner, but a lot of those have changed. There's a lot of companies that will allow you to buy ETFs. Usually, if you had a small 401k, small employees, they charge you so much in the funds. Really, it wasn't great for your employees. That has all changed.
I'm seeing some better choices within the plans now, too.
I mean, you can have 10 or 20 different ETFs, which are low cost, index funds, right? In a 401k that doesn't cost much. And, I had one $700 to set it up. All right. And then you match if you want to match. You don't if you want to match. The only difference between having a 401k for a smaller employer is this. If there's a huge income disparity, typically what you'll have, a company got some older people. They make a little more than younger people because they've been there longer or whatever.
Top heavy.
Right. So they'll do a top heavy testing thing. And if the younger people aren't investing enough, then they cut the amount you can invest in your 401k. The way around that is to create a safe harbor 401k, which means you just give them 3%.
Yeah.
Now that's it. It doesn't matter if they contribute. Every employee gets 3%. But remember, folks, if you're a small business owner like myself, your younger people aren't making a whole lot, right? And so if they're making $30,000 a year, well, it's not much money. It's $900.
Right.
But that allows you, as a business owner or any other highly compensated employees, to put in as much as you want. No top-heavy testing, no nothing.
And it's a good way to retain your employees, too, because it's like a 3% raise.
Especially when we have full employment like we do now. Full employment means people have more choices. So where are they going to go? The guy the company that's got benefits, the company that doesn't have benefits. So if you have any questions about 401ks, if your company size, hey, which one would I recommend or where could I go to start one, call us at 972-715-2424. Again, 972-715-2424. Stay with us after the break. We're going to talk about required minimum distribution and a great strategy for you and your family. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome to the Common Sense Investing Show, the home of plain-spoken, no-nonsense answers to your financial questions.
Welcome back to the show. All right.
Everything you want to know about retirement accounts, but we're afraid to ask.
Remember, we've told you got to invest in retirement accounts. It's the greatest thing in the world. Blah, blah, blah. Remember, we as advisors don't make money on 401ks, all that stuff. But we're telling you to do that. That's got to tell you something. We're telling you max out 401k when you could max out with us, but that wouldn't be in your best interest. So now what do you do? Let's say you've got a 401k, and remember there's something called required minimum distributions. believe it or not, a lot of people don't really need the 401k for income. They've got a pension or their bills are pretty small.
They won't be taxed on it, the whole thing.
They'd rather keep it together and send it to their heirs or whatever. There's nothing wrong with it, but they're going to make you start spending it down. They're going to make you whether you want to or not, okay? And they're going to increase the amount you have to spend every single year until you die. So that's the issue. I got this $1 million. I really don't need the income, except RMDs. Maybe I just need RMDs. That's plenty for me. But I want to pass this $1 million, and I know if I got a $1 million IRA, I can't pass it because they're making me spend $40,000, $50,000 a year out of it, right?
That's right.
So what do? Well, we've got a strategy here that as long as if you live 87 or less, will guarantee the $1 million, and you get to keep all the income for all those years. That's interesting, right?
Very interesting.
You get to keep all the income. I'll give you an example. Let's say you started RMDs at 70, and you got slipped and got hit by a bus. A slip or got hit by a bus at 75. If you take that, you are guaranteed on that $1 million IRA, $1.3 million goes to your heirs, and you spent $208,000.
Now, this is if the account made no money, if it earned nothing, so it can't do worse.
That's
than
right. This is your guarantee. Now, it's impossible for an index to flatline. These particular products only take up years, so this is impossible. But I just want to know what's the worst case. Okay,
sure.
So let's say you died at 80. Your heirs get $1.329 million. That's guaranteed, by the way. You have spent $385,000, almost $400,000 you've spent in payments, and they still get 1.3 guaranteed. Let's say you die at 85. They get $1.169 million, and you've already spent $550,000 of that million. Those are all worst case guarantees. It doesn't start going down at all as far as going below the $1 million until you live past about 87. And then you're going to be, you'll spend $1 million and your heirs will get the difference or whatever.
Yeah, which is a nice amount.
That's right. I got one here at 90. Your heirs get 658. You've already spent 722, so there's still 1.3 million. And that's if it didn't make anything, which is impossible. No index can flatline. Now, if you took up years and down years, the result could be a even. But if you don't take down years, it's impossible not to make something. Okay, so remember that. So you've got we're just showing you an RMD strategy. Allows you to keep all the income that the government's going to make you spend, and your heirs get back at least what you put in it. All right? Now let's do one more thing. Let's say, I know an index can't be zero, so let's say the worst case happened. Worst case is not zero because it can't take a down year. Worst case is they ran the numbers at 5%. That's 5.05. Well, let's look at 5.05 and what that does to your RMDs. Remember, since it's making money, your required minimum distributions are higher because it's a percentage of your balance. This is what the government's going to make you spend regardless of what you do. They don't care what you do, you have to take this out. Okay? So you put the same $1 million in there, that same banana peel got you at 75, right? Well, 1.237 goes to your heirs, and you spent $300,000. If you live to 80, 1.28 million goes to your heirs, and you $608,000 of what you spent.
That's right.
85, 1.1 million goes to heirs. You spent $985,000. So if you live to 90, they still get the $1 million, and you have spent $1.4 million.
So $2.4 million.
That's right. And that's if it only makes the worst it's ever made in history. That is a way to keep these 401ks together.
And take care of the family.
And get that interest. And all these things are guaranteed in writing. Those are pretty neat things.
Now, the only downside, and I use that word lightly, I guess it's not necessarily a downside, but the only way you can control money when you're gone is through a trust. So when you pass this, the buzzword used to be a stretch IRA, right? Mm-hmm. As inherited IRA. Once they get the money and you're gone, it's up to them. They can take it in 5 lump sums and pay taxes that way. They can take it in a lump sum, which is what they usually do. Or they, in turn, can start required minimum distributions, which would probably be the smart way to do, at least tax-wise. But we've got no control of that once we're gone.
The only thing that you can do, some annuities do allow you to do a payout to heirs instead of a lump sum. You'll say, I've got 4 kids. One of them will be okay with a lump sum. The other 3, no way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're just going to blow it. They might have a lot of big screen TVs, but there's not going to be much left after that. And so for that, determining an income for them is something you can do if you have an annuity or whatever. But think about, usually you wouldn't think that because most people haven't saved very much, but we're in a pretty affluent area here in Dallas. And there's a lot of people. Well, I thought I was spending more in retirement than I really am.
Yep.
Right? My Social Security and all that and my pension or whatever, I'm just not spending that much. I paid off all the house and stuff years ago. But if you'd like to keep the income and send the heirs the full value of your account guaranteed, this is a pretty good strategy. It's really, really tough to beat. Anytime I can find a way that I can keep my money together. Remember like the old days when you were growing up, you said, if I make $100,000 a year, I'm going to be rich.
Or if you had $1 million, you'd
right.
get $50,000 a year, and that'd be plenty.
Well, I think back then I was 15% CDs. I'll make $150,000 a year, save $1 million. So once you're a millionaire, you're rich forever, right?
That's it.
Well, things didn't work out quite that way now, right? We also never thought a CD would go below 5% ever, but it has. Well, don't hesitate to call us. If you have any questions, if you'd like to go, we could send you an illustration showing you how this is guaranteed to your heirs, our best RMD strategy. Our number is 972-715-2424. Again, 972-715-2424, or you can go to our website, ilovemyretirement.com. Stay with us, folks. You're listening to the Common Sense Investing Show on News Radio 1080 KRLD.
Welcome back to the Common Sense Investing Show, hosted by two of the most experienced advisors in the DFW Metroplex, Victor McClure and Guy Allard.
Welcome back to the show. I've had several callers over the years, but they said, hey, you're always talking about everybody 65, 70. And they said, why is that? I go, I don't know. Maybe it's because people over 60 have like 90% of the money.
Well,
I don't know.
That and they're concerned about retirement, right?
That's
It's right there. It's
when
there
you're 35, you're not as concerned about it.
That's right. They're
And
inching
don't get
up
me wrong,
to
we
it.
do financial planning for younger people too, but had clients come in this week, and we're trying to figure out, okay, what's the best course for this and that. Their main objective was to supplement Social Security. They said, hey, we're not going to retire for 20 years, but how much would it take for us to get $250,000 a year in retirement?
And this is a really good example of the time value of money. If you talk about the age, the dollar amount, and the payments, it's huge.
So let's say you're 45, going to retire at 65, right? So they got 20 years. They said, all right, how much do I need for 250? Remember that 4% rule, folks, but it's no longer valid. 4% would mean you take the income you want times 25. The inverse of taking out 4% is multiplying by 25. 2.8% is now the new rule that's been proven that a safe withdrawal rate, and that's times 35. So if you take your $250,000 times 35,
how about just $2,800 per 100,000 or $28,000 per million?
all I know, it comes out to $8,750,000.
Oh, there you go.
And I go, now that's what you have to say. And they're like, oh, we don't have that much. I go, I know, but that's what you'll have to have in 20 years. They go, well, that's really high. I go, I understand. And so we looked at some other strategies. I found one that basically, some of them you got to, if you take like the worst case, which I like doing, all right, I know it can't make zero. I know it's not going to, if it's a product, it can't lose. But what if it makes really the lowest and continues to make the lowest forever? And if it did that, you came out to where it was like $50,000 to $70,000 a year in income on $300,000. Now they're like, whoa. So you mean I could put $1 million and get the $250,000? That's right. The $1 million would have paid you the $250,000 in 20 years instead of $8,750,000 if you get it later.
Right.
It's kind of this time value of money, whatever you want to call it. But that's why I tell people is sometimes people are risking everything and they don't have to. If their objective is I want $250,000 a year and they got $1 million, well, just buy $250,000 a year, and you can do it for pennies on the dollar early than if you wait.
The sooner you do it, the
so
better.
Right now, instead of $1 million, it was $8,750,000. Now maybe you're a heck of a saver, and it's easy to save $8,750,000 over the next 20 years. You easily save $500,000 a year. It's no big deal to you, right?
Have to have that SEP we talked about.
Right. It's going to have to be a lot.
Yep.
All right. So $10,000 a month savings will not get there. It needs to be a lot. So if you have a choice like that, so even younger people that are forward thinking. You know, they're thinking, I'm really worried about retirement. What am I going to do here? If you can get that much income, think of it now. What's the best 10-year bond? 3%, maybe 4%. So on $1 million, you're going to get 30, 40 grand a year. Okay. On that same million, this is talking about $700,000 a year or something, you know. It's just a lot of my income.
20 years down the road, right. But that's what makes it work.
But remember, also, if you've got 10 years, you can get those for pretty good. For every million, you get $100,000 a year, which would normally take you $2.5, $3 million if you do the normal rules of withdrawal. And so anytime, if you can think earlier, it's tough to do because we're all kind of here people. I don't want to look past today. If you can do that, you can secure your retirement and secure a pension for yourself, a personal pension for pennies on the dollar than if you wait till the last minute. I've had people that listen to this radio show for 20 years, and they said, well, I'm just now retiring, so I'm ready to, and I didn't make it clear, obviously, because they listened every week, that the earlier it costs you less. Don't get me wrong, we still got them done. They're fine. They're retired. They're no worries. But man, it could have been pennies on the dollar.
The easiest way to think about a course change, whether it's a boat or whether it's a car. The sooner you correct your course and get back on course, the smaller the change you have to make. If you wait 10 or 15 years to correct your course, my goodness, you have to do a 180-degree turn. You can't spend anything. You're on beans and bologna. You know, it's much harder. So sooner is better.
No. Guy's old adage when you're poor is you're eating beans and bologna. I'm the cat food guy. You're eating cat food. Now you're eating cat food. I saw this on a commercial. You're eating cat food.
Right. I always tell them it's not the penthouse. It's not beans and bologna. Something in the middle. Where are you comfortable?
We've talked about this before. Yep, guy's always the beans and bologna analogy. I'm always the cat food analogy.
Pretty much.
Or dog food. Whatever's really bad. Now that my wife was yelling at me for eating Vienna sausage, which are delicious, by the way.
That's an Army thing. You must have had that in the Navy. That and Spam.
Those Kipper snacks, that canned fish.
Oh, no, I don't mind that. No, I don't mind those.
Just like bacon is a superfood.
It is a superfood.
That is exactly.
It is a superfood.
Or like fried Spam. You ever fried Spam? Put some mayonnaise on there?
Oh,
no. It's delicious.
Bacon is a superfood, and IRAs are a super saving account.
That's right.
You need to max them out.
Please do the retirement account. If you have any questions like, all right, I'm a company of 3 people. These are 1099 employees. This, blah, blah, blah. What retirement plan would work best for us, or help you set one up?
Call us.
Yeah, I will help you through that. Also, some of them I will send you to another firm that does these things for really cheap, like online. Call us at 972-715-2424. Again, 972-715-2424. Remember, our welcome kit is yours. Call us our number is 972-715-2424. You go to our website, ilovemyretirement.com. I'm Victor McClure. For Guy Allert, we always appreciate your time.
The preceding show is paid for by McClure Capital and is for informational purposes only and not a solicitation or representation of any particular investment product or service. Any views and opinions do not constitute financial, legal, or tax advice. Consult with your appropriate professionals before making any investment or savings decisions. Always consider your risk tolerance, time horizon, and objectives in making any financial decisions. There is never any guarantee of future success or performance.